Today, we're going to look at 4 different points to find out if VR in sim racing is actually worth it or if you should spend your money elsewhere. But let's be real, if you're watching this and you've already got a rig sitting in your man cave, you're in too deep already. Might as well spend a bit more money. Make sure to hit that like button so that I hit less walls, and let's do this. Now then, before we dive into all the other technical points that we're going to be covering today, the first point is actually understanding how much selection you have. Sort of like wheels and wheelbases, you're actually kind of spoiled for choice for what you can pick and choose. You've got, of course, PlayStation VR, you've got Pimax, Meta, Pico, the Steam frame that's coming out. There's loads of options. Now, I'm not going to go too deep into detail about each headset, but for reference, other than looking at the specs of what you want to get out of your headset, the biggest thing to have a look at is, of course, the price tag. Now, it's no secret, sim racing is expensive, but to ensure that you're not taking out a 5th mortgage to afford one of these headsets, I've created a short tier list of the different tiers of headsets you can get along with their prices so that you have a rough baseline on where to start researching. Now, at the lower end of your headsets, you've got the base model Pico 4 and then my headset, which is the MetaQuest 3S. They're pretty powerful for how much you actually pay for them, and if you're just wanting to dip your toes into the world of VR, they're a good starting point. Your mid-tier headsets are of course your PlayStation VR 2 for all my GT7 lovers, the normal MetaQuest 3, and of course the Pico 4 Ultra. And finally, your high-end stuff are of course Pimax, just everything Pimax. They'll run you for a very affordable, low starting price of £718. Their headsets are good though. If anyone from Pimax is watching this, please reach out. I really want to try one of your headsets. So you've got all these different choices and headsets, but before actually going and forking out for one of these, another thing you might be thinking of, is it actually going to improve my gameplay experience? Now, to no one's surprise, of course, it's pretty cool. There's an element of VR that you just can't replicate anywhere else, and that big thing is of course how it immerses you into the world of racing. And if you're anything like me and you can't afford to go racing in real life, this would be the closest experience to actually being in a race car. Now this is cool and all, but one thing I did notice as I was doing races in it is that I found it quite hard to actually be competitive in it. And I am aware, before you start ranting to me in the comments, that this can come down to a number of factors. Things like how much time I've actually spent driving in VR, my own personal driving ability. I know that can also affect it as well. But in my opinion, as cool as this all is, it's not something that's necessarily going to make you faster. Now, don't hear what I'm not saying. You can be fast in VR if you put in enough time and effort and depending on your driver ability, but there's a reason the pros don't use it. But past that, let's say now you've got your headset, you splashed out on your dream VR headset, you're ready to jump in the sim, but what sim do you jump in? Now, I'll keep this one short because there's only a few titles I'd really recommend, which is the Assetto Corsa series, maybe minus Assetto Corsa Evo, sorry, iRacing and Automobilista 2. And in all honesty, from the testing I've done, Automobilista 2 takes the crown for me. And it's not to say that the other games that I've mentioned here are bad, but the way that Automobilista 2 immerses you in the game through VR, it just does it differently to the other games. Now, of course, Assetto Corsa and iRacing are still really good platforms for a good VR experience, but this is just my opinion, so if you guys have a preferred sim that I've mentioned or that I haven't mentioned, let me know in the comments. So, my final thoughts are, if you really want to improve your overall experience, if you're like me and you don't have like a proper sim setup with triple monitors or anything like that, I would honestly recommend VR. It's a great way to play sim racing games, and it's a whole new level of immersion that you just can't get with screens. But if you're looking for any competitive edge or anything like that, then to be honest, I'd say you're better off investing in triple monitors or even an ultra wide. Not to say that you can't be fast in VR, but I think you'll be a lot more consistent and in my opinion, it's easier to get faster on triples or an ultra wide than it is in VR. But if you've made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it as always, and please do let me know your opinions down in the comments down below. I read all the comments and I'd love to hear what you guys think. Until then, take care.